technology and artificial intelligence.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Secretary. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your service and your leadership at Treasury. There's been a lot of energy in the room today. A handful of times you made some great points. You've been cut off. So I want to go back and give you an opportunity to elaborate on a couple of these points. At the beginning of the hearing today, Ranking Member Waters, you were in the process of mentioning the 10 to 20 million illegal immigrants came into the United States during the Biden administration, functionally with the blessing of Democrats in Congress. As you mentioned that, and you were building into a comment about the impact that that would have on the price of housing in the United States, the ranking member said, "Can you shut up?" end quote. I think you're about to make actually a really good point about the impact that Biden's and the Democrats' open border policies had on the cost of housing. The time is now mine, and I'd actually love you to provide a little additional detail as to where you're headed there.
Good. Well, Congressman, thank you. And to answer Congressman Vargas, who isn't able to stay for the whole or to hear my reply, that as you would have seen, that when approached, I am happy to have a conversation. Representative Green, who is known for some fiery moments, and I had a very respectful back and forth, and I enjoyed my conversation with him, and it is a shame that all conversations cannot be like that. Yes or no answers to me mean that the representative has talking points from his or her staff and is unable to discuss things in a logical and in-depth manner. In terms of your question, look, we have had 4.1% economic growth for the past 3 quarters. We're on track for 3% growth, and the economy is doing very well. The financial stability that we are seeing, whether it is through growth or through economic security, we've been brought back from the edge.
Yeah, President Trump, your leadership at Treasury, we have absolutely been brought back from the edge. In particular, as we think about the impact of housing, was Biden's open border policies directly related to some of the inflation that we've seen in housing? That's where you're previously cut off.
Yes, to come back to that, I would point to a study from the Wharton School that said that supply and demand works, especially in low-end housing, that letting in 10, 20, we don't know how many illegal aliens that flooded into the housing market, they all need someplace to live. So what we have seen is that the Wharton study says that for every 1% increase due to the illegal immigration, rents went up 1%. So if you got a 20% increase in population, then rents went up 20%.
Kind of economics 101, supply and demand, and Democrats drove up demand by having a massive number of illegal immigrants coming into the United States.
The Democrats didn't care what they did to working Americans. We're seeing a substantial drop in rents.
Let me build another point you were making when you were cut off. You said that lumber's at a 5-year low. Ranking Member Waters then said, quote, "You don't get to talk," end quote. Again, the time is mine. You get to talk. Lumber's at a 5-year low. Supply and demand's in effect. What's the impact of that on the cost of housing?
Again, that facts can be annoying for people who just want to make talking points. And the fact is, we have not seen an increase in housing costs. The increase in housing costs came during the Great Inflation, up 21.5% for consumer prices for the CPI, up much more, up in the 30s for working Americans. So that's the cost to housing and regulation.
We're still recovering from the Democrats' terrible policies. Let me get one final point in. I chair the Digital Assets Subcommittee. We passed and was signed into law the Stable Act, setting forward legislation as it relates to stablecoin. Treasury is required to complete implementing regulations by July 18 of this year. Are you going to hit the deadline, and are there any impediments preventing you from hitting that July 18 deadline?
I don't see any impediments at present, and if we're going to hit them, we will notify you in the committee.
I appreciate that. Appreciate your service at Treasury. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
I thank the gentleman. The gentleman yields back. I recognize